So come aboard and share with me the memories of the fallen sea, reflections on days gone by. Tell the story again, my friend, make me feel at home again, captured in the memories that last. My love for you will never die and always.
This is the second installment of custom building tackle, or the rods for fishing in Cape Cod Bay, especially the light tackle. In this video, we're going to show how the reel seat is set, the foregrip, and how and why you spine the rod in order to make it work better. We discussed that before in the first one, and you'll see how and why that's done.
All right, Tom, last time we were in here, you explained to me how to, that you're going to put the butt and the reel seat and everything else on, and we talked about the spine of the rod. Well, why don't we go to the butt and the reel seat to start with, and how and why you've got that set up the way you do.
Sure. The difference between a store-bought rack rod, if you will, and a custom-made rod is, I think, attention to detail. There's certain physical characteristics that every blank has, and we're looking to capitalize on those characteristics. When we put the butt on, understand that nothing comes to size. That's rule one, all right? This is what we call a slick butt. You'll see it's hollow on the inside. You'll notice the rod is appreciably narrower, all right? What I have to do is build up or create an arbor, all right? The key to a custom rod, again, versus a low-end rod is that attention to detail. What I'm going to do is ensure that my epoxy adheres to the blank. A lot of times you'll see a lot of tape, but if you think about it, if it's all tape, you're actually adhering the butt section to the tape rather than the butt section to the blank. What I use is two different types of arbors. I'll use 1/8 inch masking tape, and I've also found, it's my own little trick, that if I use drywall tape, the same stuff the guys that hang drywall use, and cut it down, the epoxy actually will go through the drywall tape and form a real solid bond. Key to this before we do anything is to measure out. I want to know exactly where my butt section, my reel seat, and my fore end is going to go. And as we have talked before, you and I, a lot of it has to do with the fishermen themselves. Some like a longer butt where the reel seat is. That way they can fish from a pier, they can get a better cast from the beach. You have to talk to each individual fisherman and see where. Generally speaking, the reel seat should be affixed between the elbow and the hand, so that when you pick up the rod, as you thumb your spool, you're right here, all right? So, having affixed the arbor, all right, the reel seat, and this has to be a real snug fit because you want to trap that epoxy in there. That'll go in, and then your fore end will come down. And again, all of these have to be properly arbored up. To do this properly, obviously we have to have a spine first. You don't just put a reel seat on in any position. We talked about that because that's going to torque the rod, and you'll never have that sweet spot. You need to find that spine.
Now, Tom, you're going to show me how to find or check for the spine in a rod. The easy way to do it, where you don't have to use a special machine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of tools on the market today that are just adaptation of basic principle. Again, the position of the reel seat is critical to the operation of the rod. What I like to do is use the original way, and then we'll double check it with some tools. But if I take the rod and I put it on the inside of my foot, and then very gently, not with a pinpoint, all right, that's not good for the rod, but with a whole hand, bend. Now you'll notice I've already put my indicators on the rod. You'll notice that where the reel seat is, it's perfectly aligned. I want that guide to be dead straight top center, and you'll see that piece of tape. If I take the rod and I'll rotate it 90 degrees, you'll see it'll spin in position. It'll come right around every time to exactly where that sweet spot is. The spine, that's what I'll refer to it as, the sweet spot. A rod operates best in a certain position. If I take the rod and turn it 90 to the side, the guides will be 90 to the side. So when you're fishing, you'll be fighting the rod, all right? particularly with low gear and high gear. The 130 Unlimited, that can be problematic. That'll break your rod. So you want to find that spine. That is critical to a good custom-made rod. And as I load the rod, all right, with the base at my foot, all right, you'll notice that the rod wants to go to a certain position. It's not comfortable being in a position 90 degrees out. As I load it up, it'll go right to that sweet spot, the spot it likes to operate in, and that's where I want my guides.
I'm on my way, see pines guide me, they lead me to the sea. We're past the flats, we're on our way, we're cruising on, looking for birds feeding on the sea. So sail from Rock Harbor, come sail and fish with me. That's where